We're figuring out names for what we should call our series.
The dentist and the dietitian?
BS?
Brandon and Sarah?
No. SG? Dr. B and SG?
Dr. B and SG. I like that.
Yeah. Welcome to Dr. B and SG. We're here to tell you about all the things that no one wants to tell you.
I'm good.
Me too. So mainly our topic that we've been talking about recently is a lot of the stereotype for people to come right out of college and, just drive and work and work and work and work until they get into their 30s. And then they say, oh, we can take the gas off just a little bit, ease up and make life a little bit easier, settle down, start to have a family, so on and so forth. And then eventually they get into their 40s. And again, they're easing off a little bit more and more. Then they get in their 50s, looking at retirement, said, man, I just had this great life of work. And that's about it. Like, so many people that we know and I've talked to that are in their 40s and 50s, they're looking back saying, what happened? Where did my 20s go? Where did my 30s go? I put my nose down and just drove into it, and now I didn't enjoy life.
Well, let's just go back to how we actually came up with this conversation and topic, because I kind of brought this up and I was like, I know I need to find balance in my work because I'm a workaholic, but no holding back here. But I was just like, I want to find balance, but I also know that I need to grind out in my 20s so that I can start really finding my groove in my 30s and then really cruise and enjoy my 40s. And that's when he stopped me. He's like, I don't really agree with you.
No. And I feel like that's a stereotype that we have a lot nowadays, is when we come out, everyone knows you have to go to college. And then after you go to college, well, naturally, I'm going to get that job. And then after you get that job, well, I have to work in this job and pay off all my loans. At that point in time, you're in your late 20s, early 30s. What happened? Those are supposed to be some of the most fun years of your life. So why not figure out ways that you can have fun, enjoy life, but also be furthering your career? I think the biggest thing in life and the most important things in life are enjoying it and finding out what you love to do. What's the most important thing to you? So for me, I love to travel. I love to spend time with my friends. If you can't tell, I'm super introverted. I don't like to be around people. No. I just love being around others. And I think the biggest thing is surrounding yourself with people that are like-minded and do want to do that. We do want to travel, do want to experience things in life that, so many people get to do when they're in their 30s and 40s. Why not when you're in your 20s?
Going back to even why I feel like this is so big in our society right now is because this whole entrepreneur thing has really taken off. 10 years ago, people didn't even know what an entrepreneur was, or no one really bragged about being an entrepreneur. And now everyone's like, oh, I'm on that grind, I'm an entrepreneur, entrepreneur life. And people think that it's cool to be an entrepreneur, to be always on the grind, to always be busy. And I feel like there's a huge difference between being busy and being successful or being productive, because they don't necessarily mean one and the same. 100%. And I think that that's where people go wrong. And even I've been guilty of working too much and feeling like, oh, I just need to keep going. Because you're the one that called me out on this. What is kind of your advice when it comes to finding that balance between, yes, giving it your all, and putting your whole heart into it and working to your best ability, but then having work become your life, or not, grinding it out in your 20s where you're missing out on 90% of your life?
I think the key, honestly, is working smart, not working hard. And are there times that you're going to have to work your tail off? Yes. But it's about the strategy of how you get to where you want to go. If you have to take the long route all the way around, which is what so many people do in their 20s and their 30s now. Everyone's goal is to, I want to make a living, and I want to have a family, and I want to do all these great things in my life and then retire. And that's it. And then you look back on it and you're like, darn it, where'd my life go?
Yeah.
I mean, think about it now. Think about our lives now. Honestly, when I was 5, 6 years old, all I could say is, I can't wait to be in middle school. And then when you're in middle school, oh, I can't wait to be in high school. And then when you get to high school, you're like, oh, yes, college. And so that's what happens. It's a natural progression, and you look back. And I think right now so many of us are like, oh, I can't wait to get to this stage of life. And they rush it. I can't wait to get to that next step. I can't wait to get there. Oh, it's so exciting because it's new, and it's something I've never been in before. And then you finally get there, and you look back, and you didn't appreciate the time that you were in before. And that's the time that you always look back on, and you're nostalgic, and you say, man, I wish I would have had that back.
Yeah, it's true. What are some things that you implement to have that balance, that helps you stay grounded, stay balanced. Because I know just asking for a friend.
The biggest things that help me are keeping the big picture in mind. That 100% would be my biggest advice to anybody. Keep the big picture in mind. Always be open-minded and looking way down the road and way down your career path as a way to get there. If you don't visualize where you want to be, how are you going to get there? If you visualize things beforehand and you see where you want to get to, then you don't have to just put your head down and run forward. You can actually look up and take the most intelligent and smartest route to get there. And obviously you and I have the same personalities, where once you have a great thing happen to you, it's like, okay, what's next?
Yeah.
Okay, what's next? You know, in the case for me, that was the very first week that I bought my practice. My next thing was, okay, where's the next practice going to be? Or which one am I going to buy? Where do I want to go? Or how do I want to grow? And having that mentality, I think, is really important to have, but also to appreciate the small things.
Sorry, there's like mosquitoes flying around. All right, sorry.
But yeah, I think that's one of the biggest things, is being able to focus where you want to go, what you want to do, how you want to get there, spending time to put together a plan and strategize rather than just go. Being the Bill Belichick of your career, thinking things through and methodically and intelligently piecing them all together to put this puzzle together of life. In a lot of ways, you need all those outside factors, though, outside of work, to really propel you and push you where you want to go. So having the downtime, having the outlets. For me, it's music. For me, it's you. For me, it's the people I love, my family, and that's what's most important to me. I know in life, I would not be happy if I didn't have those things. No matter how successful I was in my career, I'd be miserable.
Yeah.
And so one thing I like to do is I just look back on it, and it's a big deal to always keep the big picture in mind. And a lot of that comes with faith. A lot of that comes with the fact that, listen, I know why I'm on this earth. I know why, I've been put in the place that I am. The many details of it I don't know, but I know a general gist, and I have no fear for what's going to happen. Things are going to hit you, and they're going to be like a brick wall. You're going to run into brick walls, and being able to get up from it and climb over the top of it is what's going to allow you to advance and to grow in a lot of ways. I mean, life's never easy. I think that's one of the biggest things, is being able to look at your path and maneuver your way there in a manner that makes the most sense, while you can still enjoy it. Because if you enjoy it, it's going to be that much easier.
The visualization, and then being smart about your pathway there. And then I like what you said, because you mentioned how we're both like, okay, what's the next thing? What's the next thing? You have to remember to celebrate the small wins and celebrate those smaller milestones to your bigger goal. Because if you're just going, and constantly working towards the next thing, you're going to feel like you're on a hamster wheel and you're not getting anywhere. Whereas if you can look back and continue to look back every single week, month, and be like, wow, look how far I've come, it kind of gives you that extra energy, reigniting that fire to continue to push forward. And so I think that's another one. And then another thing that you kind of mentioned was just like what's important to you, and kind of taking time for that. Recharging and having you time, whatever you time looks like for you, and, telling yourself, I deserve that me time, I deserve that time to myself, because a lot of times us go-getters out there, like, we don't want to say that we deserve that yet, like, we haven't worked hard enough or anything like that, and having that shut-off time, having that time that, you recharge and you relax, and, that looks different for everybody, we have different ways of recharging and resting and relaxing. Very different. So I'm just going to say that I am an extra introvert. I like to recharge on my own. I'm not a hermit crab. I'm a little loner at times. No, but I like to recharge on my own. I need my time, me time, like just me time. Whereas he, on the other hand, if he could choose, he would never be alone. He would always be with somebody. With this whole topic of not being that mindset of like, I have to grind out my 20s and then, kind of work in my 30s and then 40s, like just chill. It's more about finding that thing that you love and that you're passionate about, so that number one, it doesn't seem like work. And then, working, yes, it's, to the greatest that you can, and working with all your heart, like we're called to, but, also having that shut off time and that me time, so that you can enjoy life and be present in the given moment. Shut off, look up from your phone sometimes, because I think that that's huge. And if you don't, you're going to look back when you're 40 and be like, where did those 20 years go?
I agree.
Appreciate it. What are all these big noisy cars going by? Excuse me, I'm trying to shoot a video here. How rude.